welcome to Krambamble, a podcast about nothing in particular. Your name's Kirsten.
And your name's Taz. Jesus, you nearly got me there.
Yeah, I gotcha. Let me preface the following statement/question with, I am not a climate change denier.
Okay. You're definitely not. I think if anyone's listened to previous episodes, you nearly went on a huge rant about cutting down trees. So, yes.
What if the crazy extreme weathers and natural disasters that we are currently enduring the world over are a result of stupid scientists cutting between the barriers between dimensions and traveling and doing whatever, and it's starting to fuck around with the natural order?
I'm with you there, but I was thinking more along the lines of, I've noticed on Instagram that witchcraft has become really, really popular. Like
Wiccan?
Yeah.
Yep.
No, not like Wiccan is an actual thing. This is just like, oh my God, I like to sharpen my nails into a point and paint them black. I'm so like a witch. And and then they like, I don't know, get stones and stuff. Oh, the funniest one was stones which you can replenish in a stream and the ones which can't.
Oh, like the energy, you got to put them in the sun or hang them under the moon and recharge them.
Yeah, some of them can be recharged in a stream, but then they had to do like a retraction and be like, don't wash all your stones in the stream because some of them are like rock salt, so they just dissolve.
Like the poor raccoon with the...
With the sugar cube.
The fairy floss.
Oh, that's what it was.
1,000 disappointed...
Oh, man, that actually still gets to me.
1,000 disappointed goth girls throwing bath bombs in the water going, I'm going to recharge this. Oh, no.
Recharge my bath bomb.
I'm going to Well, no, they don't, because they don't realize it's a bath bomb, essentially. But they're like, I'm going to recharge my geode. And it goes, like, no. Straight back onto Amazon Prime.
Anyway, I don't want to pay out people who do it. Just, look, I respect the whole Wiccan thing. That's great. I think it's, wonderful to be centered and use the earth. But I just think a lot of people are using it as a marketing ploy.
I think a lot of stupid bitches get killed by things out there in the dark because they're playing around with shit they don't understand.
Woo!
Yeah, I don't like Wiccans.
Okay, anyway.
I don't like you.
Huh?
I don't like you,
okay.
Wiccans.
Well, I mean, I don't understand them or know anything about them, so I can't have an opinion.
I'm messing with you guys, but if you are messing around with dark forces and leather-bound books that smell faintly of human flesh, don't! Just don't!
Yeah. Anyway, but I think, to go to your point, I think too many Wiccans are like, let's stand in a circle and worship the moon, and then they're like, summoning some sort of massive phenomenon that they don't even realize
you are giving Wiccans way too much credit.
Okay.
I think it's leftover Nazi scientists that have been hired by the American and Russian governments who are now and people are sitting there going, but Taz, well, my voice is going to get worse and worse. It's basically going to become Britney. Taz, well, Tim was like, yes, like, go.
I hate it. I hate it. Stop it. Please stop that voice.
But Nazi scientists probably have some pretty insane chemicals to keep them alive. Anyways, yeah, I think it's leftover scientists that are doing that kind of stuff.
I did a lot of, and I'm so torn because, their experiments were awful and horrible to the human beings, but what if they found a breakthrough in stuff, They
would have, absolutely. And
that whole theory of you've got to break some eggs to make an omelette.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think you should always use volunteers. Not unwilling Jewish children.
Yeah. Well, that's why
where I draw the line.
That's why the Japanese and Germans made so many very quick advances in those fields, because they didn't have the morality getting in the way.
Yeah.
I mean, American, Russian, Chinese scientists, they're all still doing that kind of stuff, but they're either using prisoners or volunteers, and so that pace is greatly reduced, but they're still doing that stuff.
And everyone, don't anyone think that the Americans didn't do it?
Oh, no.
Oh, man, stuff we've done to the soldiers. I'm not even American. Well, stuff they've done to their soldiers.
We were part of the coalition of the willing, so we were dragged into that by our governments.
Well, I don't think I ever was. I wasn't even Australian when any sort of wars happened.
Yeah.
No?
The war on terror.
Oh, all right.
They're experimenting on people they captured over there. For sure.
Oh, but no, I doubt it. I mean, someone just got in heaps of trouble for waterboarding. If they're doing, like, full-on surgical experiments on them, I think...
Misdirection.
Oh, you're in
these
Look
guys
over here.
These guys waterboarded don't mind this thing where we're testing out strains of lycanthropy on humans. Don't worry about that. Them dog soldiers, yeah?
Oh, that was meant to be a very good film. I don't think I saw it.
Dog Soldiers?
Yeah.
Horrifying.
Really?
Dog Soldiers was horrifying. But I actually prefer the short film, I guess it's called. If you guys haven't seen this on Netflix, Love, Death and Robots, there's the one about the werewolf squad.
God, that was good.
That was awesome.
But every single one of that Love, Death and Robots was excellent.
That was an amazing collection, and I can't wait till season 2, which should be dropping soon.
My favourite was that symbiotic relationship between that lady and the giant fighting beast.
Oh, no, that wasn't symbiotic. She was the beast.
Yeah. Oh, well done, Taz.
Yeah.
I was trying not to ruin it for everybody.
Awkward
That's the end. Oh, no. I'm sorry, everyone.
Look, I said I hate Wiccans. That's not the most controversial thing I've said this episode. I'm not even going to edit that out.
I know. Oh, my God. Spoilers.
Spoilers alert. I'll have to put a little spoiler alert in the... It's been out for a year. Anyone who hasn't watched that, it's like 5 episodes. You did this to yourself, Gary. You should have watched it when it came out. Don't look at me. Get your shit together, man. Come on.
Oh, no. Look, I've left things for a few years. And also, we get things way later than America. I mean, we're sitting here talking about the October... Oh, man, I can't even say it.
That word is just jumping out of your grasp today.
I know. October faction.
October faction.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's probably been out there for months.
October faction.
Yeah.
Oh, it probably has actually. We do get stuff a little bit delayed, which is kind of frustrating. So,
well, no, and they're onto us now. We were using NordVPN to jump into America, but now they're
they locked that down ages ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So,
and then you still hear that being advertised on other podcasts where they're like, use NordVPN and you can watch things. You're like, no, you can't. Don't lie.
No, that's a different conversation for a different podcast that isn't ours. That's a tech conversation. So it's doing the rounds again, at least on my social media, and I say this with a grain of salt because maybe it's just my algorithm and it's already been showing up for people, but the whole Earth is a zoo for alien observers. It's doing the rounds again, so it's a loop back around.
All right, I think because every 3 years that's mentioned.
I think because another individual has said, this theory, so now they're like, this guy's theory, and then they put it as a caveat, it's not the first time it's been mentioned, etc., 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 which goes back to our episode 12, Alien Observation Station. Go check that out. Lucifer was one of those lads. Or ladies. Maybe Lucifer's a woman. We don't know. Maybe it is a genderless grey alien creature. We don't know just yet. Unless Lucifer emails us at krambamblepodcast@gmail.com.
Or it gets onto my Instagram, which is krambamblepodcast.
Or jumps onto our Twitter, which is just krambamble, 2 words. That's doing the rounds again. And it always reminds me of the South Park episode, Earth. We just put a whole bunch of different species on one planet and see what happens.
You know what's terrible is you mentioned it and I sat here going, why did I find that so entertaining, that whole idea? And it was because of South Park. It's South Park. True.
It is quite good. Yeah, and they got the lions versus the gazelle, all that kind of stuff. But that's doing the rounds again. And it wasn't so much the zoo concept that South Park put forward, and I dare say that's probably from someone else, but more that we're like a reserve. There's a cordon around our galaxy going, don't go here.
Oh, we're like a nature reserve.
Yeah, don't go here. And I always like
There's been some previous intergalactic battle, and they're like, right, guys, they're very much like humans, where we went and destroyed all the stuff in Africa and went, oh no, we really need to conserve. Or even the Amazon, we just go, we got to conserve this, we got to stop cutting down the trees. So let's take all these endangered species and stick them on a planet, in a solar system. And then, there's a big cordon around it.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like it.
I like to think of Earth as that island off the coast of India that has the tribe there where they're like, don't go onto this island, leave them alone, because when they fly drones over, they throw spears at it.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't they shoot arrows and stuff?
Didn't they kill a missionary?
Yeah, because he went there and he's like, gonna spread the word of God. So I think we're very much like that. They're like, these guys have missiles. Don't go near them. They've got their own thing going on.
Ineffective, but
compared to us, they're primitive. They've got their own little society. Let them either do their thing, or we'll wait a couple of thousand years and see if they advance further.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which then linked into the one that I quite like is aliens are just us. Aliens are just us coming back.
That was exactly what I was thinking, and that's why our technology has accelerated at such an incredibly blinding pace, is because it's actually prior knowledge. Like, it's part of, you know how I was reading an article about if a mother is scared by a snake while pregnant with a baby, she can pass that down into her DNA, and then the child will be scared of snakes.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like, parents can pass down information through their genetics, which is just crazy.
Okay.
All right. Okay, I think I may have got that wrong, but they can.
Yes.
That's the thing. You can look it up.
So how does that link to
tech knowledge? Is what I was saying.
Yeah.
Is that if advanced human beings were in this massive space war.
Oh, okay. Oh, you got your space war thing. Gotcha. Okay. I was like, this is confusing me.
I don't know. If there was a huge space war, let's say millions of years ago.
Yeah.
Because it would have to be for our Earth to be that age. Anyway. And there were always humans, and they had this big, and they went, oh, we need to, they're so hybridized with other alien creatures that they found some pure humans and went, well, we're going to be the last of them. Let's go and throw them onto this planet called Earth.
Oh.
Create that cordon, throw all the other animals from other planets on there as well. They might be suspicious of the octopus, but we'll just cover that up continuously.
Gotcha. No wonder I was
That's
confused.
a joke because Joe Rogan's convinced that.
Cephalopods? Yeah, man.
He's convinced. Every scientist that walks through that door, he's like, octopus are aliens.
It makes total sense.
It does. But yes, so that was the point I was making there.
Okay.
Yeah. And the tech knowledge, the reason we've accelerated at such a degree is because we've actually had that as a prior knowledge.
So you're running backwards instead of forwards in terms of that theory. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I was confused. I was like, I don't understand how
so
this
we think
to
we're
anything.
primitive, but we're actually, our bodies and minds and DNA and stuff is billions of years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
So which kind of pulls into the ancient humans theory of like wiped out during the cataclysmic ice age.
And I don't know why, but that gives me a lot more comfort than a freaky weird alien, and I think that might be for like super racism.
Gotcha.
Like, you know, that human thing of anything alien is foreign.
Yep.
So the fact that, I don't know why, but it's more comforting to think that ancient humans are coming and visiting us than a creepy weird alien with grey skin.
Gotcha.
Which is so, wow, I can see why racism's a thing.
So I had, and this is probably a theory that many other greater minds have had, and I just haven't read it. The ancient humans with the great temples, monolithic? Are they called monolithic? Geolithic? No. There's a term for like our mega structures that we have, and they can't explain how we built it because they can't find the machines.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Talk to my dad.
Yeah, there's a term for it, and I cannot remember the name for it.
Okay.
I always get Cyclopean in my head, but that's different.
All right.
Lovecraft uses Cyclopean a lot.
Yeah.
For large structures designed for creatures that are much larger than humans, because the Cyclopses in Greek mythology had these huge cities, so Cyclopean, he loves that word.
Yeah. I might use that now.
It's a cool term.
To describe what? I think there's one bridge I've seen that would be considered Cyclopean.
Where's that?
The one I drive over every day to go to work.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a cool old one in Europe somewhere. I'm like, it could be a Cyclopean bridge. But no, it's just a giant bridge to accommodate lots of traffic.
Yeah, but the old ones could probably, walk under it. It's so big.
Okay. So, an idea, I don't know if it even counts as a theory, but the concept that I was thinking about is we haven't found remains of machines that we used to build a lot of these structures. So they go, they built ramps for the pyramids. They used logs, that kind of stuff. And this kind of pulls
Cantilever.
A what?
I don't know. I just remember a Dutch woman on TV was going, they used a cantilever.
Cantilever.
I was like, oh, okay. And that's always stuck with me.
So, have you read or listened to any of the Lovecraft stories?
Nope.
Okay, so in Mountains of Madness, he briefly references, not briefly, they go about this whole thing about different races that were here before humans, and essentially they had these things called, why can I remember the name? Shaggoths.
Shaggoths?
If somebody is listening and they have read lots of Lovecraft and I get that wrong, I apologize. I think Shaggoths essentially were a genetically bred slave species that are like Kraken-esque. Mm-hmm. And they're basically just fleshy, like octopi, basically.
Yeah.
Octopuses. So, what if, in the same vein, humanity today is so regressed because we've lost access to technology after one of the great cataclysms, but the machines we used were biological, that didn't have bones. So when they die, they rot, they disintegrate, there's no bones to be fossilized. So the machines we were using were giant biological machines that were placing these structures that we had. Whether it was something that we had domesticated or enslaved or created. So our technology that we had was all biological. So we may have had computer systems that were biological. So human brain is a faster processor.
And if they're like a massive cephalopod, there's no bones either.
That's my thing, yeah. So they would have broken down, they would have degraded, or we would have eaten them during, we had no food left. So that's why there's no remains of them. We go, how do we build these giants? Like, how do we erect these giant pillars that are 750 tons or whatever it is?
Because
and then put them on top of
Earth
it?
can support really massive animals. We know that.
Yep. They could have been photosynthesizers.
Can I ask you a question? And it's cool if you don't know the answer.
Okay. I probably don't.
Because I'll show you, I'll paint the mental picture of the train I went down.
Okay.
Do dinosaurs have hollow bones?
They do now? Because
that's not what I'm asking.
Do dinosaurs have hollow bones?
Yeah, aren't birds descended from them? And did they have hollow bones?
Birds are descended from certain species and genuses of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
The raptors. But the other ones,
just died.
like your sauropods, they didn't because they would have had heavier bones. So I dare say...
Yeah, there's no way they could have supported that weight.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just what I was thinking. I was like, only the biggest stuff we've got has bones.
Yes.
So I'm not sure how a giant floppy cephalopod would get around. Unless it's like a spider which doesn't have any bones.
The chitin, I think, would still exist.
No, but spiders don't have chitin.
Don't they?
Oh, do they?
They're an exoskeleton.
True.
The only reason we don't really have that because they break down, but that's because they're less than a millimeter.
No, but what I was saying is, how I'm sure we've discussed this before. I talk about this all the time. I just think it's amazing that spiders' legs are using pump action.
Yes.
So yeah, they're
exoskeletons. So if we had a spider or a creature like that of the size that would be required to lift those blocks, we would have something left over.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of an animal that could be mobile without any sort of exoskeleton.
It doesn't have to be anything like what we've got.
No, I know.
Just died out.
If we have a real life example, we could go, oh yeah, that could work. But have you seen an octopus on land?
Yeah. They crawl out of their tanks.
They look like someone threw up.
Yeah. So?
I can't see them lifting heavy blocks and...
That's because those ones are aquatic.
Land octopuses.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Like a creature that we couldn't think of. Like a shagger.
Helium-based.
Maybe.
Maybe, you know how they have all our sea animals inflate themselves to be able to rise and fall with the tides. Mm-hmm. Maybe there was like a cephalopod that could harness helium.
It's quite possible.
So that way they were floating in the sky.
It would have to be very, very large
and then
to still have the muscle mass required to lift those blocks while still being balanced by helium. It should be insanely large.
Yeah, that's what's even cooler. Can you imagine?
I'm not denying the possibility. Like I said, it's something that's probably beyond our imagining because it just doesn't exist anymore.
And maybe they don't lift anything. Maybe they're telekinetic.
Maybe it's anti-gravity. Maybe they use anti-gravity. Like what's the element 115? That Bob Lazar was talking about when they were studying.
Oh, yeah, that was nuts.
The whole anti-gravity.
Yeah.
Now, this is a technology thing because it's a piece
Okay, that's also assumed knowledge for any listeners is, go and look up Bob Lazar.
Yeah, go listen to Joe Rogan's podcast with Bob Lazar because I feel like it's less crazy than the one that's just Jeremy Corbell.
Which one's Jeremy Corbell?
Jeremy Corbell's the guy that always brings him in and keeps talking about how he's the one.
I hate that guy.
I'm the guy that made it happen. I'm the guy that made this interview happen. And you're like, dude, just let the person talk. You brought this person on. Don't talk about how you convinced these people to talk. I'm sorry, Jeremy. You're very cool, but you irritate me.
Like your dog.
Sabaka, stop.
You know what's really funny?
Jeremy's at the door. I heard you talking about me. Whoa! He's got the technology. Bloop.
Yeah. It's actually really funny. I was listening back to one of our podcasts and we both mentioned our stupid dogs barking, but you must have edited out the sound. So we just sounded insane. We are like, oh, shut up, dog.
Audacity, Audacity might have cut it out as background noise.
Yeah,
because Audacity is that good.
We also mentioned a truck passing and like paused for ages and you can't hear the truck on the podcast.
That just shows how good Audacity is. I love it.
Yep. Oh, well, there you go. Thanks, Audacity, for sponsoring us in the future.
Yes, Audacity, sponsor us in the future.
You are a great program. We can clearly attest to that.
I love it. It's great software for people that don't want to spend hundreds of dollars and don't have the expertise to do so.
I'm obsessed now. I'm going to dream about this giant sky octopus.
I'm telling you.
These big, beautiful eyes.
Listen to Mountains of Madness. Listen to Mountains of Madness. It's a good one. Like, I've listened to...
Is this Lovecraft again?
Yeah, I've listened to Call of Cthulhu, and I get
fanboy.
it. But I like Mountains of Madness because it gives you this back history of, like, eons ago on Earth. And this weird starfish race that had the Shaggoths as slaves. And then the Shaggoths started developing intelligence, and they rose up and killed them off. That's weird. And then the oceans rose, and that's why all of their... civilizations are gone because they're in the deepest, darkest reaches of the ocean. So I can't find their stuff.
Oh, except that means there wasn't very much water on the planet at the time.
Who knows? We don't know.
Huh.
All these things change.
I'd love to go down there. Well, not me personally. I'd love for someone to go down there with a camera.
Yeah, the pressure. It's the pressure that stops it. But if we had that anti-gravity technology, you could, in theory, create that space around it, and the pressure wouldn't be able to push in because it'd be anti-gravity, right?
I don't know how. I'm not a physicist.
Because the theories behind those anti-gravity machines is because obviously time and space are linked. If you change the way that gravity works, you can change the way that the time around you works as well. And that's why... Have you listened to the thing where they talk... Fravar's talking about the tic-tac?
Yes.
Oh, I can't remember the guy's first name. Commander David Fravar or something like that. But yeah, the Tic Tac, where in the space of a second, it travelled like 4 kilometres.
Yeah.
And it had that anti-gravity because there was no propulsion system they could see on the infrared. You'd alter that, and that's why they blink and shift, because gravity is connected through time and space. So once you change the way that you're affected physically by that, it doesn't take 4 minutes to move through that space. You just go and shift.
Do you think as a human being, like, we would not be able to process that mentally? Like, let's say we had that technology. Like, it would be very difficult to interact with the world. It would seem very slow to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our three-dimensional perception and the theorized fourth dimension of time, that 3.5 perception of the world, is a good way that they explained the elder gods from Lovecraft and all the other authors that have written about that as well.
Oh, yeah, actually, Pratchett mentions that as well. When he talks about trees in particular, their perception of time, because they are hundreds of years old, they were like, oh, that was a cold winter. And it was like a few seconds for them.
Yeah, it would be, yeah. But yeah, so I guess any alien species or advanced humans or whatever it is, maybe it's Wiccans. Maybe Wiccans finally found the connection and they're the ones abducting us because they need more salt.
Oh, now you're giving them some credit.
No.
In the beginning, you were like, nope, they're just washing their stones. I'm just imagining. I don't know why, but for me, my brain went to testicles and there's a man there washing his testicles. Why, Kirsten?
My secret plan is to upset the Wiccans so much that they try to curse me, thus proving the existence of the supernatural world, so then I got a reason to fight them and I don't have to do my job anymore and I can just hunt them down.
Nice.
Good plan. Oh, now that I've told them they're not going to do it. Damn it.
Well, that's what I was thinking the other day, is I was like, oh, we should buy some of those haunted dolls. That'd be hilarious. We could take photos of it and, like, Instagram them and stuff, because there's not a lot of haunted dolls on Instagram. Actually, yeah. I've not really... Anyway, the point being...
Do you want to do, like, a haunted doll Instagram where it goes and does stuff? Goes and, like, you put it in front of schools and things.
Stacey never went to school, and it's just like standing against one of those fences, and it's like little hand.
Stacey never got to finish 3rd grade.
Yeah,
looking all sad, holding the newspaper of its murder. That got dark.
Or it's blown up against the fence that I'm imagining her with her little hand on.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And it's all like grey and rainy. Anyway, but that was not the point of it. The point of it was, so I was like, oh yeah, we should buy some. That'd be hilarious, and it would, we could get a shelf. And I was like, first of all, I don't want a whole bunch of, even if they weren't haunted, dolls in my house. Yeah. Porcelain dolls. That's so creepy. But even if they were like haunted, maybe I don't want to mess with that stuff.
You probably don't want to put more than one in a space because they'll start working together.
Or they'll destroy it. You come in and there's like one left on the shelf and all the others are smashed on the floor.
There can be only one.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know, I feel like from everything I've read and heard, you have to spend a lot of time with them. They always say, with some time, you'll be able to understand. I don't need another project. Oh, yeah, I've got to get some special automatic writing, and I've got to use a spirit board to communicate with it. Yeah, no thanks. It's like having a special needs child.
Yeah.
No thanks.
I think a lot of... in the sense that this is the denier in me. The haunted dolls you get on eBay and whatnot, because they're probably all trash. Nobody in their right mind would sell those things to people that don't understand. It is to develop that sense of psychosis that someone would have obsessing over one object constantly. I've just done a Kirsten.
You did a Kirsten! He hit the mic.
I hit the mic. The sound thing on the computer looks
really good. See what I mean?
One.
It's really when you want to gesticulate.
Okay.
You get into it.
Gesticulation aside, it's to develop that sense of psychosis because someone is obsessing with it and it says that you have to talk to it. It's the same as people who have pets. You talk to your dog or cat often enough, you start having this conversation with them, and so you start believing that they actually understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
They're doing things based on what you convince yourself. I mean, I can tell my dog to go outside and I'll give him a reason why, and he goes outside and goes, see, he understands. It's just because he knows the word outside and me pointing. So if you start talking to this doll and treating it like a member of the family... Confirmation bias. It is a level of psychosis. Like, every human has the capability to train their own brain in that belief.
Yeah.
So someone who, A, buys a haunted doll, quote-unquote haunted doll, because they want that, they've already got this level of, I want to do this. And so they will start
I want to invest
themselves.
this time in it.
And so, they start believing they get that emotion back because they want it so badly. And so those things. So I dislike that.
So if I bought it, I'd be like, well, that was a waste of money. There's nothing in this.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be open to it at all.
Your brain would go, this is dumb.
Yep.
Yeah. You could go buy...
Although I am also very, very superstitious. And I don't know, if they had really glassy eyes, they would creep me out. That's what I'm saying. So I might have a bit of something like I wouldn't want to keep them in the house. I'd keep them in a shed just because I'd feel like they were creepy. I just find dolls in general creepy.
You have to bind the hell out of it. Like, you would need so many iron little bindings. I'd need to go buy the Book of Solomon again.
Crazy is that they keep them in a glass case. I was watching, I think there was a YouTube video of, it was a really creepy puppet. Yep. And it was just the head. So they found this, like, one of the first ever ventriloquist dolls, and it was just his wooden head. And they've got video footage of the eyes and mouth moving and the glass case to his cabinet opening.
Oh.
And it is freaking creepy. Go look it up. It is so creepy. But, I mean, it could all be done with strings and stuff. Who cares? Yep. Yes, it could easily be faked. But it was hella creepy. And if it wasn't faked... You keep it in a glass case?
Yeah.
Why you need to, like you say, bind that properly.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe the base of the case has some proper bindings underneath etched into the wood. And it's sort of a really cool way to bind a malevolent, there we go, malevolent spirit.
I always found that difficult. The same with Maleficent from...
Yes, that's a good movie.
Sleeping Beauty. Maleficent, I think is the one I used to always say.
Yes. So, haunted doll. Bind it in a box that has mirrors facing inwards, but they need to be actual silver nitrate mirrors. So it's actually levels of silver in the sides. So bind that in. You've got your Key of Solomon binding as well, and proper salted iron chains wrapped around it. So this...
Salted iron?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Do you impregnate the iron with salt, or do you just sprinkle salt on the iron? Or
You put salt into the iron when you're...
smelting it.
Smelting it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, this haunted doll is in a silver nitrate mirrors facing in box, bound in iron, with Keys of Solomon around it. So it spends however many years trapped in this box with its own reflection. That's a nuke when you open it. You take it to someone's house and you open it.
Oh, because it's reflecting.
That shit is jacked up. It is jacked up and angry.
Whoa.
Not only is it a bound spirit in a box.
Maybe that's what they...
But it's got schizophrenia.
Yeah.
It's insane now. It's 17 ghost personalities in a box.
That's a movie.
Or a really cool Valentine's Day gift. This has been Krambamble. My name's Taz.
Oh, we're wrapping up already.
Yeah, it's 31 minutes.
Okay, just quickly, I wanted to say, because you were talking about impregnating metal, and you know how in the movies they always make a salt ring and then they always kick it for some reason and then the beast that they've tried to imprison gets out?
Yeah, clag glue.
No. Hula hoop. Fill a hula hoop with salt. You can never kick that.
Oh. I'd have a piping bag
For like a cake.
full of wood glue and salt.
Oh, yeah, and then it's stuck there, yeah.
Yep. Or just double-sided tape.
Or one of those big cork guns.
Yes. There you go. There you go, Sellies. There's your new product. Ghost barrier Sellies. Waterproof and moldable.
I thought it was Sealies. As in, they make a seal? Sealies?
Sellies. Selleys. Sellies.
Oh. I don't know why in my brain there's an A in it. Okay. Thanks for listening to us, guys.
Bye.
Bye.